All right, 7:01, and I am calling the Borough of Beach Haven regular meeting to order on February 11th at 7:01. And the flag salute is led by Mr. Lynch.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by posting on the bulletin board in the Beach Haven Municipal Building and mailing the same to the Beach Haven Times, the Asbury Park Press, and the Press of Atlantic City. Mr. Allen.
here.
Mrs. Ballmiller.
Here.
Mr. Lynch.
Here.
Mr. Maskell.
Here.
Mayor Davis.
Here. Okay. We have a proclamation to read. This is America Week, and I will read the proclamation. Whereas the citizens of the Borough of Beach Haven stand firmly committed to promoting reading as a catalyst for our students' future academic success, their preparation for America's jobs of the future, and their ability to global economy. And whereas the Borough of Beach Haven has provided significant leadership in the area of community involvement in the education of our youth, grounded in the principle that educational investment is the key to the community's well-being and long-term quality of life. And whereas NEA's Reading Across America, a national celebration of reading, will be conducted on March 2nd, 2019, which would have been the 115th by the New Jersey Educational Association in partnership with the New Jersey League of Municipalities, the New Jersey Library Association, and their local affiliates across the state to promote reading and adult involvement in the education of our community students. Now, therefore be it resolved that the Borough Council member calls on the citizens of Beach Haven to assure that every child is in a safe place reading together with a caring adult on March 2nd, 2019. And be it further resolved that this body enthusiastically endorses NEA's Reading Across America and Read Across New Jersey, remits our community to engage in programs and activities to make America's children the best readers in the world. I think this is wonderful. Congratulations. I'm very excited about this. So, I'm going to walk out here, and I want our students to come up here and get the proclamation and stand up and have their pictures taken. This is a wonderful thing. To me, reading is the most wonderful thing I do. I read all the time. And not only do you learn a lot when you read, but it's relaxing and enjoyable.
So we're going to call the Beach Haven kids up. We have Quinn Ballmiller, Julia Ballmiller, we have James Baxter, and Jackson Ballmiller from the Beach Haven Elementary School.
That's great. Maybe you could open it up like that, and you can hold it. And why don't you stand right there, and I'll stand with you. And I'm expecting a lot of reading on March 2nd, and before that too.
And you're tall for a change.
Take your hood off, James.
Take your hood off.
There we go. Perfect.
You take a picture without me.
Introduce the public to a very exciting new member of the Beach Haven Police Department. We'd like to introduce you to our new K-9 officer, James Lemo, and our new K-9, this is Jenner. Oh. Tom, can you come on up and tell the public about Jenner?
Jenner is a 1.5-year-old Labrador Retriever. He was trained at the University of Penn Vet, Center for Working Dogs. We've been Since Sergeant Lemo has been a member of our department since 2006 as a special, I think he's been talking to us about once a month about getting a canine unit here. And this Christmas, he got the best Christmas present ever. The chief talked to Council and Sherry Mason about getting a dog for the department. And we decided on the best course for us to have type of dog would be a bomb dog. People say bomb dog in Beach Haven, but with the amount of events that we now have, with the amount of people that we bring into town, it seemed only prudent. We've been actually reaching out to the Sheriff's Department more and more about having them check events for us. So we'll be able to do this in-house. And as you can see, he is a very lovable yellow lab, loves everybody, so he'll be able to work and check in the schools for us. We have a lot of calls during the summer where you find a backpack on the side of the road. And it always makes all our officers a little bit uptight to actually go and check it. So now Officer Jenner here will be able to check that for us and know that it's safe. He'll also be able to help us if we have a domestic violence situation where we have to do a gun grab for my house from a domestic violence standpoint. He can search for them. He'll be able to track missing people. So if somebody gets lost or is disabled and lost, we can find them. The University of Penn, they started in 2010. All of their dogs are named after dogs that worked the pilot in New York City after 9/11. Jenner was named after Jenner. Ann Whiteman was his handler from Colorado. Colorado Task Force 1 worked the pilot for 5 days. So they have a unique tradition there where each of their dogs that they train has the name of one of the dogs that work there. They're all trained to work in rubble piles so they can detect people. They do hides out there. When James told me how much the dog was, I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, does it do dishes too? But when we went out to the Penn vet and we saw what they did and how they trained him, they've been working with this dog since he was 8 months, 8 weeks. 8 weeks old, excuse me. He was trained on scent tracking. They use a special chemical compound that's unlike any other smell in the universe. So they can train him or any of their dogs to do all of the tracking and scent finding stuff that any dog, and when the dog's ready to go to work, like he's going to be a bomb dog. He could have very easily been a drug dog. It's pretty amazing. The other great thing about this dog was the ability of a friend of mine, a resident in town, when I told him that we were thinking about having a canine unit, he turned around to me and said, I'm in. And I was kind of confused. I said, what do you mean you're in? He goes, tell me how much it is, I'll write a check.
Wow.
So for somebody else to say that, I know he uses service dogs at home. He's a big proponent of dogs, so he got a nice dog at little cost to the town.
He was known as Officer Jenner?
He is Officer Jenner.
Officer Jenner,
He will
cool.
have the badge number K91.
Cool.
He's just, James took possession of him 2 weeks ago, on the 1st of February. And he's been going back and forth with the Atlantic County Police Academy K9 school down there. They have a really great setup. When we were down there watching, it's just amazing what they get their dogs to do there too as well. That's not costing us anything. The owner of, not the owner, the director of the academy is so into having dogs. He actually is waiving the fee for us so that we can have a dog and train down there. And then we'll just go back there and train with them as well. Like I said,
Yeah. So the dog was wholly donated by the public.
Yeah, so little cost to the town.
Congratulations.
We tried reaching out to everybody because when James wanted to do this so badly, Chief tasked him with going out and getting proposals, planning it, how much it's going to cost, the veterinary cost. We try to look at it from all angles before we set on the responsibility.
That was donated to first year veterinary course,
First year veterinary was actually donated by Stafford Vet.
and the county, or was donated, or given.
James was able to reach out. There's an incredible network of people that are canine handlers that are willing to help in any way that they can. I graduated with guys in the Sheriff's Department. He gave me a list of people to call. James got a list of people to call. There was a guy that's a lieutenant in the MTA in New York City donated a cage, a kennel for our cars. So we have a ready-to-go kennel, we have a K9 car now. And all of this was done on the cheap. So we're very excited to have them. And I think James might do a couple of trainings, little obedience work with them.
Come here, hey,
We also take from Pat.
Jenner. Come here. Hey, his obedience is good. Hey, Jenner.
And this is the type of belt we really wanted a dog that everybody's love.
We're all very excited. Thank you very much. Sit calm. These are for Jennifer.
This guy.
That's a picture. That is a picture.
Come! Tim! Good boy! Yes, good boy! Good boy! Good boy! Good boy! Now. Come on! Out! Good boy. Sit. Yes. Good boy. Ooh, I'm sorry. Get so excited. Good. Down. Yes. Good boy. So, his ball, his tug, his towels are everything. That's what he's working for. When they do scent, I'm not rewarding him. The odor is rewarding him. So when he finds that odor he's supposed to look for, he's going to sit, he's going to stare until it rewards him. Whether with a ball, a towel, or a tug. I'm out of it. I just work him. He thinks that odor is given him. That's what he is looking for. And that's what he thinks he's getting his reward from. At home, he gets to play with my other dogs. He gets to play with some toys. But if he's getting to play with every toy in the house, he's going to be like, well, what do I got to find a bomb? So him being a working dog, he's a little kenneled at times because you got to keep him when he's out. It's time to work. It's time to go to work. It's time to find that person. It's time to find that order. That's why with the ball, he's not going to keep. Nothing's going to distract him off of it. Yes. Good boy. Good boy. So sit. Good boy. Good boy. But
He is agility trained. It would be nothing for him to jump clear over this bench. If you get a chance, Ken Vent, working dogs, if you look them up online, there's a whole list of all the dogs and all the stuff that they do. And he actually has his own YouTube channel on there under Jenner. It's amazing some of the stuff they get these dogs to do. What I said before about the price of the dog, worth every penny. Worth every penny, all the stuff that they do for these dogs. He also does, Ken Vent also does training medical, so they push the limits on what they can get the dogs to smell, scent training. When we were there, they were actually doing stuff with detecting cancer cells, individual, like 1 or 2 cancer cells in different things, and the dog was finding it every time. It was amazing to watch. And they were saying that they actually did a thing with antiquities in Syria, that when they were stealing all the antiquities out of the country, the U.S. government was sending dogs over that were trained to smell old artwork, and they were able to get
if they can make the science to make the odor of the dogs, we'll detect it, no matter what it is. Cancer, arson, cadaver. Cadaver dogs have found bodies from the Civil War still. So they don't know when a body is fully done decomposing, but they found bodies as far back as the Civil War. So if they can make the odor, the dog can detect it. So if you ever notice on your dog, their nostrils have the slits on the side. When dogs exhale, it creates a vortex, which then scoops up more odor. A lot of hounds with their big ears, their ears in labs, scoops up odor and brings it to their nose.
That's why when they run, they flop their head from side to side. That's
When
by
a dog
design.
breathes, about 10% of the air going in goes through a completely different channel, and that's it analyzed in the brain. You go in your house and you have someone's cooking beef stew, you smell beef stew. They smell the carrots, the potatoes, the beef, whatever. They can figure it out. And watching these other dogs work, it's not a lot of, like the captain said with the cancer, they showed us a sample and we're like, okay, I'll take your word on it that there's cancer in there.
Yeah, they showed us a drop in a little container, and we're like, it looks like a drop of water.
Yeah.
A drop.
It's amazing.
Their noses are 10,000 to 100,000 times more sensitive than ours are for detecting odors. So we're excited to have Joe with us. Does anybody have any questions? No questions?
Thank you again.
Thank you.
People head shy around his head, so if you want to pet on his sides or his head. He's on the, can be people around his head.
He's on the entrance.
Thank you. Yeah, he's making me look like a rock star. I'm the one who needs a learning, not so much him.
How old is he?
He's a year and a half.
Would anyone like
Still-
a card?
Still playing young, still a puppy. Ready, bud? All right. Say thanks, bud. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, James.
Hey, James. James, real quick, up in front of that sign.
If he runs away, will he be able to find you?
Yeah, he's my shadow. He doesn't do that. Oh, he's all the way. Sit.
Tom, can I get a card, if you don't mind?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Period of January 1 to January 31, 2019 were $2,391,201.28. Cash disbursement in the current fund account for the month of January 2019 totaled $407,322.82. Cash balance in the current fund account as of this period totaled $14,804,280.91. Cash receipts in the water utility account for the period of January 1 to January 31, 2019 were $267,681.66. Cash disbursements in the water utility account for the month of January totaled $145,233.97. The cash balance in the water utility account as of January 31st, 2019 was $3,442,451.78.
That's it? All right, so approval of minutes without formal reading.
We have it's a January 3rd, it's listed on here as the second, it's a January 3rd, 2019 reorganization meeting, January 14th regular meeting, January 31st agenda meeting, and a January 31st executive session.
Everybody read the minutes?
I motion to approve. Second.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mrs. Ball Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Maskell?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
Yes. Okay, ordinances.
2019-2C, an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 173, Solid Waste of the Borough Code of the Borough of Beach Haven, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, to regulate receptacles and establish fees for receptacles. Final reading. Nancy, did you want to?
Yes, this is the final reading, so therefore I'm opening the floor.
Before you open, let's let the council make some final
Oh,
statements
that's
and
right.
summarize the ordinance.
So I would each council member like to make a statement relating to this and why they're supporting it. Would anybody like to start?
I believe Sherry provided the council with a list of workman's comp claims for the past 5 years? 10 years, which was $708,000. And I noticed particularly 2016 was a very active year. Was there any reason for that, Sherry?
I don't know. 2012 was the highest year, 17 claims.
But if we can save $70,000 a year, that would be quite a savings.
Anything else? Tom?
Yeah, just a couple of things. First of all, I think as far as the safety for our workers, I think this is a good thing because when I was first living in Haddonfield, they were introduced up there. There was a number of people who were against it. But within a year, everybody was really very, very much forward to it. It reduced the injuries to the people. And I don't know that we're going to be ever able to reduce the workers' comp. Let's hope we can do that in one form or another. But it is an opportunity for them to take it on the corner, and we have retrofitted the trucks that they can put it on the truck, and the truck can lift it up and put it in the trash in the appropriate place. So I think that's a very, very good thing. And I think it will reduce any workers' comp injuries that may occur, or any injuries for that matter. Now, I know there's a number of people who said, I will use senior citizen, design the senior citizen. Hey, this is 95 gallons is a very, very large type of thing to carry out to the street. What we've made it available for is if somebody has problems taking it out, let's say they're taking it out through pebbles or through clams that are on the paved area, we will be able to provide someone to come over and help them take it out. So that's something I think will go a long way for a number of people who may be down here and not have the opportunity to carry it out and may be too big for them. I know there's going to be a 95-gallon one, and there's also going to be, I think, a 65-gallon one. Yeah. I think also the other thing too is it'll really stop the fact of cans and lids flying all over the place in streets. And I live over in Ingleside, and I think that's a real problem in that area. The cans are taken out, and a strong wind comes, and we know the winds that are in Beach Haven. And I think it's a very positive thing that this will stop a lot of that. So I think it's a win-win for everybody. I hope everybody will agree with me, but I think it is a very positive thing, and I look forward to it being introduced to the Beach Haven.
Just give it a chance.
Yeah.
Jamie.
Okay. I guess it was last fall that I started to read about this new ordinance and the tipper mechanisms, and I was a skeptic at first because I have a trash corral. So it is very convenient for me to almost like set it and forget it. Put my garbage out and I don't have to think about it. And then my parents and my family, they would come down and visit me, and they were like, you have this beautiful home and you have your garbage right in front of your house. And I didn't really look at it that way. It's kind of like the electrical wires, you eventually don't see them any longer. Then I started to pay attention, and I'm looking at everyone on my street, and there's one corral this way and one corral this way, and my corral's, the back's falling apart, and then I start to look at everything. It really does not look nice whatsoever at all. So then I kind of stepped back, and I realized that it's really going to add to our small town feel. And it's really going to add to the beautification that we're moving forward with in the town. And it is going to look a lot nicer to remove the corrals and not have our garbage facing as the first thing that you see when you look at our home. So I think it's going to add to the beautification. So I am a trash corral owner, and I'm going to have to make some modifications. And it is going to be a transition for myself at first, but you know, I'm willing to do that for my town. And second, I also have a rental property. So I also feel for you know, my tenants that are going to have to take out their garbage. And I contacted a lot of owners and tenants both in Wildwood, because my family's from Wildwood, and I asked them, what did you have to do? Because they're not allowed to have corrals in Wildwood. And they're not even allowed to fill out their garbage before 5 o'clock. So they have a little bit more stringent regulations. And they said, you know, as owners, what you have to do is you have to put that in your lease, or you have to make these modifications that they have to be responsible for taking out their garbage. So we're not the only shore town that are not allowing corrals, and we're not the only shore town that are being responsible for our tenants. So it is another thing that I'm going to have to do with my tenants. And it is going to be a work in progress, but what I want to try to make easier for everyone is the transition. So this is a work in progress. We're going to be working with the homeowners, with the rental properties, to make this as smooth as possible.
Thank you. Dan, do you want to say anything?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'd like to, just echo what you guys have all said so far.
Can you speak up a little bit?
Okay, how's that? Is that better?
Better, yeah.
Okay. I'd like to echo what you guys have said, as well as add a little bit. I think whatever we can do to keep our public works in-house goes a long way to helping our town. I'm down in Florida, and they're using this system down here, that they have the cans in a private company collected. And what I've seen is, they don't care. If it's not in the can, it doesn't go in the truck. I know some of the guys that ride the back of the trucks in town, they do care. They work hard to keep each of them pristine. So I think if we can help them out, help them not get injured, and give them an easier way to do this, would be great. The second part is, I'm renting down here, and I don't know why I would be considered not to be responsible to take my own trash to the curb as a renter, let alone a homeowner. I made it, I should take care of it. So, I mean, as far as renters not being responsible enough to do that, I don't really think that that should be a factor, because they take it out of home, they should take it out. We all make trash. It's a fact of life. And on the second side of that, I think it's in my thesis that if I don't get it to some problem, it comes out of my security deposit, whatever should have to happen to remediate the mess that I've made. And I think most people are responsible human beings, and they want to care what they're in and what they're doing. So I think, echoing cost savings with Tom, the corrals, as Jamie said, he's absolutely right. We have trash in front of our homes, and that's not really a beautiful picture when you step back and actually think about it and look at it and call a kid a cat. So that's why I'm in favor of this. I hope that as a borough we can work with the community, and Jamie said and everyone else has said, the transition was possible, as Tom brought up. The borough perfectly happy accommodating elderly people that may feel intimidated or not even be able to take the cans to the curb. We're a small town. We work with each other, and hopefully we can work together through this.
Thank you. And I support the trash corrals for all the same reasons, obviously. I do think the most important reason is the health of our employees. The biggest cause of disability in the whole United States really is disability of lifting heavy cans. This is a fact, and this is true across the world. And since I've been on council, I'm much more cognizant of how trash is collected in other places. When I go to Europe, I look and I've seen this system over there. It's really fascinating, even in big cities. I also I own a couple other properties where we use these cans, and it's interesting. In this one property, I own some property in North Carolina, which is a resort property like here. And if you rent your property, the town actually makes you have 2 of those cans. You have to buy 2 of the cans, and they charge you. I get a bill, so they charge me every quarter, or actually I have to pay the bill every month for 2 cans. My bill would be less if I only had 1 can for dumping the 2 cans, but it does keep the property neater. And even though these are big, they are not that hard to move around because they have big wheels. And as Jamie said, and as a lot of people said, this is a work in progress. We know we're going to have kinks and there's going to be problems with it. We certainly will work with people. Public Works is very willing to help anybody that's having trouble with the cans. I've talked to numerous people about this, and I have had emails. I know people are concerned, and one of their concerns is that the cans will be sitting out in front of their property for days before they're collected. I think we need to work through these issues. We are going to have cans that are not as colorful as what you're seeing here, so that they don't stand out too much. We're going to have I believe, a gray and a black can. One will be for recycling and one for regular trash. The large can holds about 3 or 4 times what you'd have to have, about the equivalent of 4 cans to fill that large can, and what, maybe 2 or 3 for the small can. So you won't have as many cans sitting out. I know as a homeowner, I frequently, if I have neighbors that aren't there and I see their cans out, I just walk over and pull them back behind their house or to the side of their house for them. And I think a lot of people do that. And I think that, as a community building effort, I think we all sort of have to help our neighbors in this situation. I know we'll have kinks and we'll work it out. We're not going to be draconian and start setting people big fines for not getting their trash can out in time or something like that, we'll work with you. So we know it's going to take a year or so before we iron out the kinks in this. But in the long run, I think it'll be better for our employees as well as it'll help beautify the town. That's all I have to say. So at this point, Sherry, do you want to say anything?
No, I just wanted to say, I think the color's still up for debate a little
Well,
bit.
we're still, I'm fighting.
We're still arm wrestling over the color.
I'm fighting for the less bright cans, but it's people that want to speak to that, you can.
Yeah.
Anyway,
We do have the measurements on the tops of the cans if you were interested in seeing those. We can open it for public.
one other thing is that we didn't mention is even though we pay these large workman compensation bills, another feature is that when people are out on workman's compensation, they're missing days of work. So that's an added expense that isn't calculated in the cost of workman's compensation, the loss of work time that people are having, and this is a big issue. Okay, so now I open the floor to public comment. Please come up, be sure to state your name and address before you speak. Okay?
Oh, I guess. Kitty Snyder, 120 Berkeley. I just wanted to thank you because I think this is awesome. As if you have genuinely meeting said the same thing. I'm on the Historic Preservation Advisory Commission, and we've been working towards this and asking for this for a long time. And I'm super happy, and I speak for the rest of our commission, that we are really glad that you're doing it townwide. At first, I was not sure because it's different. Nobody likes change, but I think it's going to be awesome because when we look down the street, you're not going to see trash corrals. And I think I saw it in here somewhere that the guys will be putting the cans just to the side of the house. They will not leave them at the curb once they're empty, right? I can't remember where I saw that.
Correct.
So that's awesome. And I also was just a question when it says here that or the location agreed upon in writing by the homeowner and the public works superintendent supervisor. Are you going to be a little bit strict about that so that someone can't just say, I have a rental property and I don't want to make my renters put it?
Yeah,
Right.
we're only going to be flexible if it's impossible.
Okay.
Where there is no, like a condominium, there's a common area.
Right,
No
that
side
has
of the
to be
house.
in
So you
corner
have to come to some
properties.
agreement,
Of course.
but it's not going to be in the right of way and it's not going to be curbside. Where can we agree that this is the best
Right.
place for your can? And I just like to say that Jackie Fife, our Public Works Secretary, has been bombarded with phone calls and unhappy and happy people, and she's been Googling people's properties and pulling up the image and looking to see where's the best place, and like literally trying to compromise and find the solution right then and there on the phone. And I give her huge kudos,
Yeah,
going
I
above
can
and
only
beyond.
imagine.
Thank you.
But thank you, I really appreciate it. It's just a step in the right direction of beautification. So thank you.
anybody else would like to come forward? Nobody else? Okay.
Randy Bush, I'm at 218 Ford. My wife and I have a unit in a small condominium, and the issue that Ms. Mason, sorry, the issue that Ms. Mason was just speaking to would be helpful to know. The corral where we have right now is located in what would be the common area of 3 units. It works well. It's not in the right-of-way, I don't think. It's off the sidewalk area, the sidewalk part of Coral. That works the best for the 3 units as it is. Other than that, it's going to intrude on the 3 units. So I'm enlightened to hear that Ms. Pfeiffer, if that location, as I read in the ordinance, to me, it would be for our unit, and I'm only speaking for our condominium, it would work well there. But if, as Ms. Baumiller was saying, the whole theme is to get away from any corral locations in the front of any property, that's going to be troublesome for us. Because a location other than where it is definitely going to infringe on our privacy. Ours, and the unit above us, and the unit in front.
Privacy, you said?
Well, the visual privacy and the aesthetics of the cans. They're going to be somewhere in a place much closer, if not on top of the units. Right now, they're in a very nice corral, close to and off the sidewalk in front of the property. So bringing it out and all that, I understand we'll probably have to modify the corral to cut off the lip that's on it to work these cans. And that, as you say, is all a work in progress.
You don't even need a corral anymore, actually, with these type of cans. You can just choose a spot that works on the condo property that works to store them. But Chris can come out and take a look with you, or Jackie can take a look and try to come to some agreement, but we definitely want to push them back as far as possible.
I'm confident that I can probably have a discussion where something will work. Right now, it would seem that that area is the best, and it's not 4 cans out. They'll be in the enclosure, it'll be wheeled out. It's Jackie.
Jackie, right there.
I figured you would. You're very good.
She has the
I don't need to take any more time of it. It is a great idea, and your idea of being cost-effective and labor-effective is appropriate. It's just the kinks.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, some of those kinks are hitting you right now.
We'll work them out.
I'm confident. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to come forward? This is your moment to talk, otherwise I'm closing the floor. Okay.
I do have a couple of comments. My name is Monica Fellon, 201 Holyoke. We do have these cans at my permanent home in Flemington, and they do blow over. So if there's not a lot of garbage in there and they're all over the streets, they could blow over, and it is much breezier here than it is at our current home. Other comment is during the summertime when you have a lot of bikers and walkers in the bike lanes, these are going to be taking up the space. Safety. Cars are now going to be going around the people. How are we going to keep the people?
in the bike lane?
Isn't that going to be in there in front of the people houses that are in the?
No, it should be behind the curb at least.
So it's going to be in the driveways.
For pickup. Do they have, there should be some room next to the driveway?
There's going to be a lot of people that are going to have difficulty getting their cars out then.
They park.
So you want it on the
completely
sidewalks
all
or
the
you
way
want
across. It should never be in the road.
So you want them on the sidewalk or you want them in the driveway?
Is there a sidewalk or just a curb?
I'm just houses around here. Where do you want these cans?
On the side. Preferably maybe behind the sidewalk for pickup.
So you're going to have a lot of potential people that aren't going to be able to get out of their driveway.
If it's a sidewalk, there wouldn't be a driveway. I'm confused about what you're saying. Is it a driveway or is it a curb?
Just not my
Every
house.
property is different, so pick a scenario.
If somebody has a tiny driveway, where do you want that can?
So their driveway is only a portion of their front yard.
Right.
So maybe if they come to the end of their driveway and move them to the side, like behind the sidewalk. There's a little spot, or on this side, it's behind the sidewalk.
Okay, so that's now not going to be a flat area, and now you're going to be breezy and they're going to be blowing over. These cans do blow over.
Well, if they do come out and they're full of garbage, they shouldn't.
I'd like to just make a comment because I live on 6th Street, and I would say only about 25% have corrals. Everyone else, they actually pull their garbage out. So I've never, in the 13 years that I've lived here, seen garbage in the street. And so they're always either, the sidewalk's here and they're right in front of the sidewalk, but they're never in the driveway, and they've never blocked traffic, or I've never even seen a can.
Well, that just may come up as an issue for you.
Okay, yeah, definitely, we'll definitely keep that, on our radar, especially safety in the bike lanes. But actually, with the tipper system, this will actually be more quicker than the normal standard pickup. You know what I'm saying? That this is actually more efficient, that we could actually free up a lot of the guys to do a lot of other stuff around town because they're not doing garbage.
Okay, and I'm just afraid that these cans are going to be sitting outside a lot longer too. We're not a year-round person here. So our can is going to be sitting out And I don't have a place at my house, on the side of the house with the landscaping. We do have the corral, it's behind bushes that.
Right,
201 Holyoke.
I gotcha. Yeah. With neighbors and stuff on our street, we always, I always pull my neighbor's can back, and
There's not many year-round people around.
You can hire someone.
Yeah, there's.
We shouldn't have to hire somebody to bring our garbage in and out.
And we always have Public Works driving around constantly, and these are chipped, so
Oh, that was another thing, why can't the addresses be written on the outside? Especially on Holyoke, we flood. Those cans are gonna be floating.
You can write it on the underside of the lid, but we prefer to keep the cans clean, not written on.
Okay.
We know there's gonna be kinks, but we'll work them out. I mean, there are places in town that might be difficult, but we think we can solve these problems. And I mean, I think 90% of the people won't have a problem, but maybe 10% will, and we'll work with you.
Yeah, I'm a newer resident here, so just not being here all the time, it has been very, very nice knowing that the garbage is going to be picked up and the cans brought back. It has been a very, very nice part of being in Beach Haven that I didn't have to worry about the garbage. And I don't rent, so I don't have the renter issue, which that will be another issue with the people bringing the garbage out. But I'm feeling that my can is going to be sitting outside, and it's not aesthetically pleasing. It's not. To have the garbage can sitting out for 3-4 days, the winter time, an entire week.
I agree with you, it isn't, and we'll work with that. We'll figure something out.
But we are putting them back to the side of the house.
But I don't have side of the house, so who knows where the can is going to end up. So is this a done deal?
Yes.
It is.
What was her answer? I'm sorry. Did she say yes?
Yeah, I said it is a done deal. We are going, well, we vote tonight, you'll see at the end of the vote whether it's a done deal or not.
Okay, Kathy Ugelhart, 1415 South Bay Avenue.
What's the last name again?
Ugelhart, Kathy Ugelhart, 1415 South Bay Avenue.
Okay.
The question that Monica was asking, where now are we supposed to then put these cans? If you're not supposed to put them in the road, which then of course is going to be blocked, then it's going to be on the sidewalk. And then people can't, you're going to have to go around the cans once they're on the sidewalk. Where am I supposed to be putting these cans to be picked up? Where are these?
What about on your property, on the between your house and the sidewalk?
Well, it's pitless, so that's where we're supposed to be putting these cans when it's time to be picked up?
Yes.
On the side, on the pebbles?
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Marianne Hogan, 502 Dock Road. I have family that lives in Beach Haven West. And I go over there and I put these cans away for them when they leave on the weekend. And I sometimes get there on Tuesday or Wednesday. It's a nightmare, it's disgusting. The containers are on the sidewalk, they're thrown on somebody's lawn, they fell over in the road, they're all over the place. I thought we had it so much better than what you think this is going to do. Also, I understand about the men's backs, you know, lifting heavy things and all, but I thought there was a limit. 40 pounds. If it was more than 40 pounds, we don't pick it up. And I don't feel that they do. I mean, I can't talk about compensation cases and things like that and all, but I think this is a nightmare. I can get it to the street, up against the fence. Now I've had to store this monster in my garage because the black whale has my whole house. So I just think it's terrible. And I think it's awful. If it's a done deal, I don't even know why we're spinning our wheels. I just don't think it's a good idea. And Shirley is right about renters. They're not going to worry about those cans. If they're a little full and they're flipping, the seagulls are going to have a ball.
Let me just say something. I'm going to agree with Jamie and Nancy. This is work in progress. There's going to be some chinks in the armor, as we call it, but I think we can work them out. I think there's more good to this than there is probably some issues, but we can work them out, and I think if we give it an opportunity and a chance, I think it'll go in the right direction. I think it just needs a little bit of time, and let's see what happens. If people have problems, they can obviously call, and they call public service, and we can see how we can work these glitches out. But I do think it's going to take a little bit of time, and that's all I have to say.
I'd like to say one other thing too, just to say, basically, I think the people of this town won't stand for trash cans lying on the side and seagulls going through it. We actually have a person in our department who goes around to make sure that people have lids on their cans and they can their trash so they're not in bags so the gulls don't go through it. We're very conscious of these sorts of problems we have in this town. And I'm sure that if we start seeing trash all over the place in these cans sitting out on the street all the time, I know the people in the Historical Commission won't be happy, and they'll be coming here complaining, as will everybody else. So I certainly don't want ugly cans all over the place. So I think we'll be diligent about making sure that this works. But as Tom said, there are kinks and things we'll have to work out. Please come forward, I'm sorry for talking.
Cans with no lids is one of our biggest violations. Yeah.
No, I think that you addressed.
No, so you have to say your name and address.
Jen Tomlinson, 306 South Bay, Beach Haven. I think that you've kind of addressed what I was going to say, but it is concerning, and I know that there are kinks to be worked out. But I've picked up my neighbor's garbage. I've picked up, flooding and numerous cans and bottles and everything floating down the road and run out and picked it up. And am I supposed to, my next 4 neighbors leave on Sunday night. Am I to bring in all 4 of their cans?
Well, the trash people will bring them in, but they might put them out Sunday night, maybe the trash won't. Are you on South Bay, you might be collected Monday morning, so then after they're collected, the trash people will put them in a designated spot, which will be off the front of the house. So
I just know that the next 4 houses all have corrals at this time, and it's a random, oh, let me run out and get that.
Right.
Compared to, let me run and get the next 4 houses cans.
The trash corrals are something relatively new in Beach Haven. I mean, I've been here all my life, and
we've had them.
I don't know.
My son's 16. I know I've had mine for 16 years.
Really? Because we've had an ordinance for a long time that really does prohibit trash cans in front of the house. And all my life here, the garbage guys would get the cans and then take them back to where they got them, in the back of the house.
And that's okay. If you're saying they're going to wheel them back to next to the house?
They are going to wheel them back, but they're not going to wheel them all the way in the back of the house.
Okay, but next to the house?
Yes.
As far as equal with the house?
Yes. They'll be equal with the house. The house will be there, yes.
Okay.
That's in the ordinance.
Yeah. Anybody else? I have one question, Chris. Are there a way you can secure those lids from opening? Is there a cord or something that you can hold it down in a windy day or something like that?
Most people use bricks.
What? A brick?
You can put a bungee cord on it.
Yeah, a bungee cord. Yeah, I've seen them with bungee cords. That's why I asked, just in case somebody would knock one over. When you get the tin cans and things, they tend to blow around a lot.
It's not going to blow around like the
No, right.
And as far
Come
as
to the
like,
mic, Chris.
as far as like where people are going to put it, I mean, they got to put their garbage out now,
Right,
so they can put it where the corral is.
right. You put it where the corral is now. Right.
So nothing's going to be different except for the amount of cans. Instead of having 3 cans, we'll have 1 sitting there.
Right. Anything else? We have the expert here. Okay.
Stay clear.
Elaine Leonardi, 1501 South Bay Avenue. It saddens me that however you came up with this idea just came to our attention through a quick letter. We had no idea what the history was. We had no idea how you decided on this. And all of a sudden, we are coming to this meeting tonight, we read something in the sandpaper, we come to this meeting tonight, and it's a done deal. That's sad. That it's February, you don't have the population here to really discuss this. You don't have people who own these properties part-time with renters to really discuss this, and it saddens me that you have decided this is what we're doing. And I think your intent is correct, but I think the process stinks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just for the record, we've been talking about this since 2015. We've held 2 public hearings on 2 different funding ordinances to fund the purchase of the cans and then the retrofit of the trucks separately. It's been discussed since 2 public works superintendents. It's been in the works for a very long time. We did many financial studies to compare privatization versus in-house. This has been talked about for a long period of time. And it's finally come down to tonight's vote, and there hasn't been a vote yet tonight. That will happen in just a moment, and this is the public hearing, so we are following the law.
Any other questions? All right, I close the floor to public comment. Do I have a motion to approve this ordinance?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mrs. Ball Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Maskell?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
Yes.
Ordinance 2019-3C, an ordinance amending Chapter 212 zoning of the Code of the Borough of Beach Haven, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, as it pertains to trash corrals, first reading.
This is first reading, so it's not open to public discussion. Sherry, could you just explain this a little bit to the public?
So we've taken all of our rules and regulations surrounding the trash corrals and the cans, and we put them into the solid waste chapter of the Borough Code. And there's really no need for the trash corrals to be delineated in the zoning chapter, so we're just removing it from there, and all the rules and regulations about it will be found in the solid waste chapter of the code. It's a cleanup ordinance.
Is there a motion to approve ordinance 2019-3C?
Motion to approve 3C.
For a second?
A second.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mrs. Ball Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Lynch? Mr. Maskell?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
Yes.
Ordinance 2019-4C, an ordinance rescinding Chapter 157, rollering of the Code of the Borough of Beach Haven, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, first reading.
Sherry, again, would you just quickly explain this to the public? It's a little confusing.
It's obsolete.
Yeah. What is obsolete? Where the roller rink is, we now have pickleball courts, and when a pickleball isn't being used, it can be used for roller skating. But we don't have a committee and that sort of thing, that we've got a committee.
And we have an ordinance established for pickleball, so
yeah,
we really have double established the location.
So is there a motion to approve this ordinance?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mrs. Ball Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Maskell?
Yes, Mr.
Mayor
Lynch
Davis?
is.
Mr. Lynch, this is ordinance 4C.
Yes.
You never asked me.
Oh, Mayor Davis?
Yes.
I did actually.
I didn't hear that. I'm listening.
Sorry.
I even have my hearing aids in.
All matters listed under item consent agenda are considered to be routine by the municipal council and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. Any items requiring expenditure are supported by a certification of availability of funds, and any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda and discussed separately. All consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes. Resolution 31, awarding a contract to Mid-Atlantic Waste Systems to retrofit garbage trucks with tippers. 35, updating Emergency Management Council roster. 36, reappointing our emergency management officers. 37, authorize the execution of an agreement with the County of Ocean for animal facility services. 39, authorizing the Borough of Beach Haven Police Department to participate in the 2019 National Priority Safety Program. 40, returning piling bonds. 41, canceling water charges. 42, releasing curb and sidewalk bonds. 43, returning a tax sale certificate premium. 44, creation of an architectural advisory committee. 45, establishing dates for sidewalk sales. 47, returning dumpster bonds. 48, authorizing application to Sustainable Jersey for the 2019 Sustainable Jersey Grant Program. 49, authorizing application to Recycling Partnership for the 2018 Recycling Partnership Grant Proposal Program. 50, approving change order number 1 for the 2018 Water Treatment Plant Horizontal Pressure Filter Maintenance Work Project. And finally, 51, approving the agreement between the Borough of Beach Haven, the Long Beach Township PBA, and James Lemo concerning their K-9 officer duties.
Would anybody in the council like to remove any of these resolutions from the consent agenda for further discussion?
I'd like to remove Resolution 44, the Architectural Advisory Committee.
Okay. Anybody else?
Just a follow up on 43. I think there were more than one tax premiums. I actually inquired about those with Jennifer. So it's tax premiums, it should say. That's all.
Thank you.
Okay, so do we have a motion to approve the resolutions with the exception of, which was it, 43? 44. Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolutions 31 through 51 while removing 44-2019 for later discussion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowmiller?
Yes.
Mr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Maxwell?
Yes.
Mayor Gay?
Yes. Okay, so
So how would you like to handle number 44, 2019, creation of an architectural advisory committee?
I would like to table it to the next agenda meeting for further discussion.
Okay, so that's February 28th at 4 o'clock.
is there, I mean, you're good on that, right?
No, you're good.
Okay.
We're gonna do that. We're gonna move it along. I have a bill list today in the amount of $911,874.21.
Is there a motion to approve those bills, or there?
I have a question on number 2. It says 78,4044. What's that for?
That's the final payment on the AC Schulte's contract that you just approved a change order on. Horizontal pressure filter maintenance.
Okay.
Any other questions? A motion to approve the bills.
Motion to approve.
For a second?
Second.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowmiller?
Yes.
Mr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Maxwell?
Yes.
Mayor Gay?
Yes. All right, I'm now opening the floor to public comment. At this point, you can come up and comment on anything. If you do, please state your name and address. Anybody want to comment? Nobody? Therefore, I will close the floor to public comments, and we now have final remarks by council. Who would like to start? Mr. Allen, would you like to start? Do you have a final remark?
Sure. Sure.
Smile, Dan.
Even though I've heard that the kids at Beach Haven Elementary did a great job with the new rules of the weekend. And I'd just like to thank everybody that was involved with it. Hopefully we can do it again next year.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Yep.
Jamie, how about you?
Well, the people that commented about the trash ordinance have left, but I just wanted to just reiterate to them, they're no longer here, that we're going to make this as smooth transition as possible. Sometimes change is a little bit difficult, and I, for one, have a trash corral. I have one. I was afraid to tell Kitty, but I have one, and I'm guilty. And it is very convenient for me and my renters, but I really think that it's it's the best thing, not only for our workers, but also for the look of the town as well. People come here for that look and that special feeling. And we are going to work with the public, you know, as much as we can. Jackie's, you know, been great, and so have the girls in the office. So we're just looking for a really smooth transition. We promise we're going to work these kinks out.
Thank you. Mr. Lynch?
Yes, a couple things. Let's not forget that the borough dinner, I think, is this Saturday night. Let's be sure that we...
The firehouse.
That's the firehouse dinner, so we make sure we're okay. I just received a copy of the police report, and as usual, it's outstanding. They do one great job in this town. And unfortunately, they don't get a lot of accolades. They only get the problems. And I think that they do a great job, and they've helped me out quite a bit. The other one is, and I'm going to go back to Jamie again, give it a chance. Give this trash can issue a chance. There's going to be problems. They're going to be minor. We're going to work them out as best we can. And I think that's going to be a very important issue. But like anything else, change is coming. And now is the time to take a look at it and move forward. And if we have problems, we'll correct the problems as we go along. But I don't think there'll be many problems. I think there'll be some people just getting used to a new method. And I think that's going to be very important. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Chuck?
The only thing I have to say is to Kitty that finally all of the town will be covered by an ordinance for corrals.
No, and it was a tough, then we realized how difficult it was because the ordinances were all over the place, and that's why we, for some reason, this was just really difficult, and I know we worked on it for years.
Thank you for your input.
Right, I'd like to also reiterate what Sherry said, because we've been working on this for really a long time. And I guess a lot of people just don't follow what's going on. And it is difficult, there's no question. It is difficult to follow that unless you really come to the meetings or watch them, the televised version of the meeting, or read the minutes. But this has been an issue for a long time, and I think it's the right choice. And I just want to again say I'm thrilled about the K-9, and I'm excited about Reading Week. And don't forget, March 2nd is a special day, and we want to encourage all our kids to read. And that's it.
We still have the Dr. Seuss.
Chuck used to go to the school and read.
Dressed up as Dr. Seuss.
So you can do
I
that.
did too. Yeah. So, right.
Are you volunteering, Chuck?
Sure, I'd love to. I love doing it.
I think it's wonderful. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.